How you doing? As Walter said, this is the first, I actually just got him in the mail today. So the name of this book, it's the first novel I've written in 6 years now. The last novel was Freak. This novel is called What Water Won't Wash Away. It's basically a 238-page suicide note. It's not poetry, there's no poetry in this book. I wanted to, because the last book I wrote was so easy to write, I wanted to give myself a very difficult character to endear to the reader. So Ramillis McLeod is basically accused of being a pedophile, a rapist, a womanizer, pretty much the worst stuff you could possibly think of. And I felt like if I can give you that character and make you actually care about that character, or at least be concerned with why that character was doing the things that he was doing, that I'd accomplished what I wanted to accomplish in this book. It took me 5 years to write. Yeah, 5 years. Thank you. It's $20. I think it's the best work I've ever written, penned. Whether it's a play, poem, whatever. I think it's the best work I've ever penned. So now it's up to you to tell me if I'm crazy or not. So I hope you will pick it up, try it out. Freak was very easy to write. So the name of the novel is What Water Won't Wash Away. I'm gonna do like a half a poem, and then I want to read something very shortly from the book, and then I'm gonna get out of your way. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So if Johnny Walker bottled it, then that's what I am swallowing. I'm the leader of a cult group, got a cult following. And no, I'm not an atheist, I do believe that God exists. If you had been where I had been, you wouldn't even question this. Worst parts of your city, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, cats don't even stare. When look into my eyes, they understand that I belong there. They understand that I am from where cowards don't get to eat, where gangsters and hustlers prey upon the meek. So if you really want it, you better be willing to die for it. If you really want it, you better be willing to fight for it. And my life is a movie, that's a brutal film. Feel my pain. 1 million people watch it, but nobody see that shit the same. I am on a different plane. And no, it's not a G4. More like a single engine over the Bermuda Triangle. Because once I take off, you ain't gonna see me no more. And cats are always asking me, Ma, how you on that God shit? Don't you know it's nonsense? I tell them, contraire, mon frere, we ain't end up here by accident. I definitely believe in a divine plan, but I also understand that any religion on this planet was created by a man. And I don't follow men, not even on Twitter. Most of them self-righteous, arrogant, and bitter. Most of them jealous to the point of being animalistic. That's why they turn around and give their God the same characteristics. See, since the second God came, men understood the God game. Get 1 million men to believe like you believe, you can get them all to kill in God's name. And we can all sit around and argue amongst each other about whose God is tougher. But my God is love. My God is a nurturer. Their God causes earthquakes and tsunamis. Their God is a murderer. My God tells me how you do all that drilling, then blame me for the killing. How you drop nuclear bombs, then try to make me out the villain. Their God, to show a sign, has 1 million fishes wash up upon the shore. My God says, I gave you beautiful oceans and you polluted them with oil. Their God has 1 million birds fall from the sky. My God says you pollute the air, and you want to blame that on moi. I serve a God of common sense, so I serve the common man. And you don't need a doctorate in theology to understand. The answer's right under your nose. The Latin translation of religion is control. Free your mind, free your soul. That's the end of the sermon. Welcome to the Dirt Church. Early bird service, where every word bleeds for the children of Darfur, children of North, children of Baltimore, children of the 9th Ward. My relationship with my God is different than yours. So you can find me in the back, double fisting some fine spirits. You get it twisted, think I'm not coherent, then watch me get up on the stage and rip it. I am the definition of debauchery. And still I find time to worship properly. Find time to align my soul with prophecy. So when it's all said and done, y'all, if you in the body, I only ask that you speak over me honestly. They say the writer dies when he has nothing left to write. That means I'm closer to death every time I touch a mic, and I'm fine with that. I am reincarnated in the souls of every writer I have ever inspired. My ink, their pain. Even if I'm never acknowledged as one of the greatest writers of my age, consider this my eulogy, a definition of my worth, until they put me back in the only congregation that matters, the Dirt Church. I'm only on my 6th life, so in the universe's eyes, I was born last night, but I come back in my 7th, more focused than ever, 10 times harder on my grind. So 3 days after my death, if you would, search every major that you can find. Look for the brown baby with the North Star twinkle in his eyes, and please bring 2 friends, both wise, both bearing gifts in kind. I know you'll think that's blasphemy, but as for me and my house, we will serve the word, until the word becomes life, and the life becomes light, and the light begins to illuminate the night. In my mind, we are all Christ. All on our personal crosses begging for help. So when you see me up there praying, you think I'm talking to myself. On a broad street in Philly, mumbling under my breath, like I'm living in my own brain. You might think I'm crazy, I think I'm the only one who's sane. I'm just trying to make a difference like Mr. Middle Name Hussein. But we are both crazy for thinking any nigga wants change. Most niggas are very comfortable in their ways, in their religion, even if they've never read the book for themselves. That's why they follow whatever bullshit their preacher sells. All thirsty as hell, but ain't no water in that well. All asking God for things they can righteously get themselves. And prosperity teaching says God wants to triple your worth. That is, of course, as long as the pastor's worth is tripled first. But I will not be fooled by the fear tactics of your religion. I ain't afraid of shit. I do poetry for a living. This is elevated wisdom. This is, lo and behold, Jesus wasn't a Christian. So why are you? Jesus never allowed himself to be labeled. So why is it when we receive labels, we embrace them? I swear I don't want to ruffle no feathers, I just got some questions. This is the thinking of the Dirt Church. So when we do the math, we actually show our work. It's hidden in the verse, from the cradle to the hearse. I will serve God manic until they cover my casket with earth. Remember when you heard it first. Welcome to the Dirt Church, second service. CDs and DVDs are available for purchase, but this is elevator music. It's meant to pacify your soul. From porches you used to play on to porches you now own. You were young, now you grown. And ain't got no time for ohms, peace and blessings, candles and incense. I don't know nothing about none of that bullshit. I'm from a city where even living is a challenge, because your life expectancy is lower than your car's miles per gallon. Wow. But I'm a hybrid. And I'm plugged directly into where my God lives. I suggest you get yourself an outlet and plug in. I suggest you get yourself an outlet for the pressure bills. Pressure from your job, from your kids, from your bills. Because when the pressure builds, the pressure kills. My blood pressure is 180 over heaven's gates. And if you watch long enough, you're going to see me levitate. Did you get the line, my life is a movie, there's a brutal film, feel my pain, 1 million people watch it but nobody see that shit the same? There's a brutal film, y'all know what that is? There's a brutal film when Kennedy was shot, Zabruta was filming. So we've watched that video 1,000 times and some people say it couldn't have been one gunman, some people say it was one gunman. So I was like 1 million people watch it but nobody see that shit the same. Never mind, forget it. Just forget it. Alright, so this is a novel. I know a lot of people might know me from poetry. I started doing poetry, to be very honest, because I was good at it. I walked into a venue 13 years ago now, and I watched everybody perform, and I was like, I'm better than all these motherfuckers. So I went home, and I wrote a poem, and I've been doing it ever since. But it was always my intention to do enough poems to have enough people know my name so that I could do a play and so that I could write a book and I could actually sell it to people. People would want it. So I put a lot of work, I put very little work into the poems because they come easy. I put a lot of work into the plays and I put my heart and soul into the books. That's why the books come less frequently than everything else. I've done a play every year. I've dropped a new CD sometimes 3 times a year, but I've only written 2 books. This is the second one. So I told you what it's about. Remillis McLeod is the main character. So I want to read you a small excerpt from it, and then we'll move on.
I had my first sexual experience when I was 13. I call it an experience because I can't righteously call it sex. My older brother was always cooler than I was. He always got the women, and I mean he got them. He can make a woman do anything. He can make a woman do anything he wanted. It was like he had some type of power over them. One day I came into the house to find him having sex on my mother's bed. She had to be at least 25 at the time, and he was only 15. When he saw me, he yelled at me to get out. I told him I was going to tell, and I ran downstairs. 5 minutes later, he came downstairs. I was sitting on the couch, scared as hell. I thought he was going to beat the shit out of me. He said if I would keep my mouth shut, he would let me have sex with her too. I had never even fingered a girl. But like all 13-year-old boys, I was curious and horny all the time, so I agreed. We went back upstairs. He told me to take off my pants. Then he took me into the room. I thought he was going to leave me in there with her, but he had no intention of not getting his too. He told the girl to get on her knees and for me to stay at the edge of the bed. While he got behind her, she started to suck me up. Now, it's important to remember I'm 13 years old and I've never had sex. Although I was masturbating 3 times a day. He promised eventually we would switch positions, but I never made it there. My mother had a mirror on the dresser in front of her bed, and I made the mistake of looking into it. Watching this chick in the mirror with her perfect lips wrapped around me got me so excited, I came in the first 2 minutes. At that time, I didn't know fellatio etiquette. I didn't know I was supposed to tell her when I was coming. I'm sure you can imagine what happened next. Needless to say, she was upset, and my brother was laughing hysterically that his little brother came so fast. I have never been more mortified in my entire life. I was so stupid, I actually thought she was mad because I might have gotten her pregnant. I didn't officially lose my virginity until my 18th birthday. But after that experience, I was always terrified of sex. Thank y'all for listening. I'm right over in the corner if you want the book, and good night.